Okay, hello, and welcome everybody to the Chatting with Friends podcast, a show where I, Nassie, sit down with my very interesting buddies and we all get to know them better. Today, we're sitting down with one half of the team that maintains the rules forum for both Marvel Crisis Protocol and for Shatterpoint, as well as the unofficial Discord servers for both of those games. It's Thoras. How are you?
Hello. Not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. Happy to be here.
Oh, thanks. I'm real excited to do this conversation. I have a lot of questions that have been bubbling in my brain for a long time because I understand very little of what you do. Okay, so as always, we have a little icebreaker before we get into the meat of things. So my icebreaker here is I would like to know one of your hot takes, right? So something that you would die on a hill for, but most people disagree with you with.
Yeah, no, uh, it will probably be pretty controversial, I guess. But my Discord icon is a little bit of a hint towards what I'd say. The OG four threat Spider-Man, Peter Parker, is not as bad as most people would lead you to think he is. He's still a pretty dismissed character, I think, and most
Okay.
people look down at him quite a bit, but I've always found him fun. I will agree that he is not at the tippy top far end of the bell curve of four threat characters, but I've always got a fair bit of work out of him. I've always had fun with him. I just don't think he's as bad as most people would say he is.
Okay, Thoris, I was fully prepared to jump in here and defend you, but but you seem to be going back on a little. You were like, okay, so your take is that he's not as bad.
Yes, I,
All
I
right.
I fully admit he's not at the far end of the spectrum, but most people would throw him in the garbage, and I think that's wrong.
What rosters do you have him in?
Uh, it's a really difficult question, kind of 'cause I do not get to play as much as I would like to,
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
unfortunately.
okay, we're fair enough.
But Web Warriors is by far the affiliation that I have played the most, and I would say he was in um, minimum 75% of those rosters.
Wow, we. Okay, if I'm honest with you, I don't even know what I don't even know what Peter Parker does. The fourth threat. This is the fourth threat one. He's three three
Yeah.
three. Oh, he's a long mover.
Yeah, he's a long mover. He's got he's got a pull, he's got a character or terrain throw. Um he's got like the good spider sense.
Right. Okay.
He's got a lot of things going for him. Like he's got impact webbing. Like he can do a lot, but I think the main issue is that he's maybe like if we put him on a if we put like each individual thing on a scale, it's like one level too low for most people, if that makes sense. Like he's
Yeah.
too much of a jack of all trades without being really great at anything, maybe.
I guess just looking at first glance, uh, like like fourth threat, the grown up Miles Morales is just like leagues better than this guy. um. But that's just I don't. I haven't played
No,
Peter
that
Parker, so it's hard to argue against it when I've never really played him. I didn't know he's a long mover. That's like that alone is humongous.
yeah, and I will say I have not gotten any playtime in with any of the new stuff. Canada just got all of the new spiders in the last couple of
Oh,
weeks.
really? I did
They've
not know
been
that.
Yeah, they've been seriously delayed for us, and kind of going back to my earlier comment, I don't get to play as much as I would like.
Mm-hmm.
So even if we had have had them, I'm not sure I would have had a game in yet.
Yeah,
But
yeah, fair.
so yeah, I can't say if that still holds up with all of the most recent releases, but prior to the recent releases, I don't think he was as bad as most people would say.
Okay, all right. That's a pretty reasonable because I guess this goes back to kind of like the group, like the herd mentality when it comes to like certain models. Like I think it was maybe a month or so ago. Everybody would talk like nonstop about how bad Hulkbuster is, but it was and those opinions originated from just years and years of people being like blah 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 gross yuck blah. When in reality he's pretty solid in my opinion. I had to cut him out of my roster recently, but I think he's a pretty solid model. For what he does, all of his like automatically working stuff, it does good. He does good stuff.
Yes, I definitely agree. I think he has suffered from the if he does go down, his little Tony's.
Oh
I
yeah,
think it's all little Tony's fault, honestly.
it is. It is a bit Little Tony's fault. Little Tony, my sixth threat being 222. I mean, it's cool that he's like a healthy model, but man, does Little Tony die real quick.
Yeah, yeah,
It
like
often feels like his front side has 13 health, and it
mhm.
often feels like in total there's only 14 health on the entire card.
Yeah, yes, no, I definitely get that. Like I one of my most recent games that I can remember actually, I had a Hulkbuster on the table trying him just in Web Warriors,
Mm,
just to play a character I haven't really played much, and the dice were a little bit involved here, but he tanked like I don't know, 6, 8 attacks
yeah.
on his front side. And so many times it was just like, okay, well, block this many, reduce a damage, and oh, I'm taking one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or zero. I think my favorite time to run him would be directly into Web Warriors actually, because
Okay, yep.
all of their attacks are physical, which is what his best stat is
Hmm.
in. So yeah, I would get people trying to hit me with a 4 dice attack and doing zero like 9 times in a
Yeah.
row. Felt felt good. Felt real good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just when he gets spiked down too quick that I think people
Yeah.
kind of go, "Ugh."
Yeah. It's the energy attacks, it's the blue attacks, and it's also I hope that if he ever gets an update or some buffs or whatever, I hope that they just give him like they don't got to change anything else about him. If they gave him some immunities, get that man. That man's got like all the technology in the world. You tell me he can't save himself from bleeding or a stun or shock or something. He's a robot. He's a robot. He should be able
Mhm.
to not get shocked. Come on, throw me a bone.
Yeah, there's so much they could do, and like I love the theme behind what they did with him,
Mm-hmm.
like the concept of being able to bring back that big hulking beast of a miniature
Mm-hmm.
when you're brought down, like the it's like buying the lottery ticket. Like you want to keep buying it, you want to keep trying, but
Yeah, yeah, but realistically, it's impossible.
yeah,
and
exactly.
and if you're ever in a position where it is feasible that you could like have enough time to bring Big Tony back, it means that you have lost Big Tony so early in the game, and you're just like basically six threat down for like I you're hoping 2 rounds, but probably
Mhm.
more. I don't know. I guess he could just sit somewhere and double tap and hopefully get 4 a round or something like that. I don't know.
Yes, yeah. It would be interesting to see a rework where they maybe I can't see them ever doing it because when there's a thematic rule that they really like to keep it there, it feels
Mm,
like. But if Tiny Tony lost the ability to bring back
Big Tony.
Hulkbuster,
Yeah.
what could they do with him? That could be pretty interesting.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I agree. Okay. All right. That feels a good amount of preamble. So now let's get into the meat of things, huh? So let's
Mhm.
okay. So here's the first question. Where I'm gonna try and stop saying ums and uhs. Very unprofessional, Thoras. Very unprofessional. So where are you from, and what's your personal background? This is what we want. This is what the people want to know. They want to know. They know Thoras, the proper noun. They know the image of you, the avatar of you online, but they don't know Thoras, the human being, and that's what I want to know. That's what I want to dig into. So where are you from? What's your background?
Yeah, yep. I am one of the Canadian players, so I'm up north from most of the uh, people that we all interact with online and everything. I think don't think it's I don't think it's wrong to say the majority of the player bases feels like it's North America or United States to me.
Mm,
And that's kind of what I see from like the stats of some of the Discord servers and everything. Most of the visitors there
mm-hmm.
are from the States. But
Yeah.
anyways, I'm Canadian, so I'm up in up there. Um, I am uh, family man. Got two young kids, so that's one of the things that kind of limits my ability to
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
participate in the game events and everything. Computer programmer by trade. So
Oh, okay, got it.
that's my main job, and I think that plays into kind of where I am and how I interact with the game. Honestly,
Yeah, it instantly it makes because I've become friends with a lot of different uh I affectionately call them computer nerds.
yeah,
But it does make sense that this is your skill set and this is also how you interface with the game and the community. That's super super cool. I also refer to you as witches because what you do is is basically magic. In my mind, I Carl showed me a little bit of what goes happens behind the scenes because he programs as well. So what happens behind the scenes with his work. And yeah, I mean, he might as well have been speaking Portuguese to me the entire time because I have no. It's so crazy. I took an introductory C++ class a long time ago, and so I get there's ands and ors and there's loops and stuff like that. So there's like very basic, you know, vocabulary and definitions that I know. But to see it all put together and then he presses enter and when he presses enter, things happen is, witchcraft.
it can feel that way. Definitely, it can feel that way. One of the things that one of the perspectives I most enjoy when trying to explain programming to people, you can find videos. I wish I could remember the title of it, but the gist of the video, one of the most recent ones, there's a million versions of it out there, is it's a dad with his two young kids there, and he says to them, "Tell me how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Mm.
Explain to me how to do that." And so he sits there with all the materials in front of him, and the kids take turns trying to do so. So they say something like, scoop the peanut butter out of the jar. And so he just takes his hand and starts shoving it into the jar that's not open.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Or then they'll like, oh, okay, we got to tell them to open the jar first. So they tell them to open the jar, and they say, um, put the peanut butter on the bread, and he just like lifts up the jar and puts it on top of the piece of bread, and
Okay.
variations of that,
So
and just
it's teaching you what that for coding you need specificity or
exactly,
okay,
yes,
okay.
like because that's the gist of it is the computer is in some ways only ever going to do what you tell it to do. So you have to tell it exactly what to do.
Mm.
And it's figuring out how to do that that is where the magic comes in.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, those are some pretty funny videos. I'll look one up later and send it to you
Okay.
to
Yeah. Yeah. I love because it's such a strange. I mean, strange to me. It's my perspective. A strange culture of people who just know these things and it's how they interact because my interface with computers is I double click on where my email is, oh, here's a program I
Yes.
want to run, and I also can click that. I'm a pro at that stuff, brother. You want to see me clear out an inbox? I can do it, no problem. So
Yeah,
it's
no,
it's very interesting to learn what
um,
y'all guys think and what how y'all process it.
yeah, and there's various levels to it too, right? Like just because you can write a program doesn't mean you necessarily even know how the ins and outs of the computer itself works. Like how does the computer make the code do things? I can't explain that to you. I'm sure I learned it in classes back in college and stuff, but
Mm.
it's it's not it's not relevant most of the time to the way that I interact with them. So you can go to that deeper level nerd where they're the ones that I am equally kind of like, oh wow, it's amazing that you know all this stuff, and in some ways I wish I did that as well, but I don't need it, so you can keep that.
I I had a friend back in college that was a electrical engineering major, and he told me that at a certain point, you're not encouraged to ask your professors why this happens. You get to a certain level of classes, and the theorems and the things that you're learning are just so high level that we understand how, but not the why. And
Mhm.
there is just a big "I believe" button that everybody needs to press in those circumstances, and I think that's what you're, what
Yes.
that the process, the realm that you're talking about right now is how to make it do the things it does, but as far as how it or why it behaves like it does is like yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Is for probably 99% of people super not useful, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Until everything falls apart and we need to rebuild it, then I'm screwed. But
Godspeed. Yeah.
well, you get that common. I think it's a common thing for nerd culture and stuff like that. Like, oh, what if you were transported back to medieval times, and how amazing could you make everything? And it's like, well, most of us couldn't because we know how to use things, but
Yeah.
we don't know how to recreate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be pretty screwed. I think they would immediately throw me in some sort of mental institution or they'd be like, "Oh, sure, Nasty's from the future, huh?" It'd be one of those situations. Okay, so let's get on to so we get some of your background now. We know the man behind the Spider-Man GIF. Um, so specifically, what I would like to know now is what is your gaming background and how did you get from when you first started playing these types of war games to ending up where you are, you know, as enmeshed with Marvel Crisis Protocol and Shatterpoint and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Um, like going way back to kind of the start of everything, I guess.
In the beginning.
Uh, yeah, yeah. uh, I came to war games properly much later in life, but I do remember when I was a young kid, like preteen, early teen sort of thing. seeing people playing GW games, seeing the GW store in the mall, and uh, various games like that. But uh, where I lived at the time and everything, I didn't have the ability to get into them really. I would just kind of like wistfully gaze at them and like, oh, that seems so cool. Uh, I swear I remember there used to be a video game that was a recreation of uh, Warhammer Fantasy or something like that, but I couldn't tell you anything other than a vague memory that I feel like I played this video game back in the 90s or something that was like that, which might have been my first exposure
Okay. Was it
to
on the computer or was it on a console?
would have been a console game, would have been
Okay, okay.
a console game. Um, but then I bought some Magic cards
Mm-hmm,
at
mm-hmm.
one point.
That's the great gateway drug. I keep telling people, you better watch out.
Yeah,
Be careful.
it's it's kind of funny with that though. Like I feel like coming from the rules background, I would very much enjoy that from what I've heard, but I bought the cards and I never actually really played it properly.
Mm.
Um, I played it a little bit with a friend of mine that I essentially forced to play with me. He wasn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily as interested or anything like that, but if I explained the rules as far as I understood them, he would kind of play with me at the house as a young kid.
Mm-hmm.
But past that, I never actually like played it with anybody else.
Mm.
So I never did events. I never really properly got into the game.
That's
Um,
that's very interesting. There are people I think in the same situation when it comes to like tabletop role playing games like D&D and stuff, where most of their hobby is focused around understanding the rules and reading the books, and much less about playing. And some of that is kind of like your situation where maybe there just wasn't a community for it where you lived, but some people just like legitimately they just enjoy just knowing the rules and reading the books. It's very interesting. I never knew about it until very very recently, but there is a huge community where that's, and who's to say that that's like incorrect or whatever. That's totally a viable and reasonable way to enjoy a hobby, right?
yeah, no, definitely. I actually I have played a little bit of D&D, but I fall into that camp a little bit in that I do remember back then kind of same sort of thing, just staring at the books, wanting to play it. Uh, you want to do it, so you get as much of a taste of it as you can, even if you can't take the full bite, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think it something comes from that sort of angle. Um, at least that's what it was for me. Like I want to enjoy this as much as I can.
Right, right, right.
Um, so past all that, skip a decade or so,
Mm-hmm.
and my first jump back into things was actually X-Wing.
X-Wing is a Star Wars flying game. If I
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, okay.
Yep.
Can you
Um,
explain it a little more? Because I know basically nothing about it other than that.
oh gosh, I will try.
I believe in you, Thoras. I believe in you.
I So I I first got exposed to everything again actually. I think it was Control Alt Delete, the web comic, would show War Machine miniatures and talk about that game just a tiny little bit. And I was like, oh, that seems interesting. But there was nobody locally that I found at the time that played. And then I saw X-Wing come out and I said, okay, pre-paint it. So one big thing for X-Wing was it was pre-painted. There's no painting, there's no assembly. You bought the ships.
Oh, okay, got it.
Um, you got the thing ready to play. And I said, okay, I'm gonna actually take a shot at creating a community for this.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, like I wanted to play badly enough at the time that I started trying to post on Facebook and look at local game stores and look at local areas that I could try and start getting people together to have some get-togethers, and it was it kind of boils down to what you said. You get your spaceships all from the Star Wars universe.
Hmm.
They had templates very similar in idea to what MCP uses, except their templates were much wider in application. So you'd have straight templates, you'd have curves of various degrees.
Oh.
I think there might have been like a 45-degree curve, a 90-degree curve, straight ones, and then you would have to put that down and fly your ship along the template. And if it crashed into something, okay, well, bad stuff happened then.
Okay.
Uh, so imagine with MCP, once you put your tool down, every movement was a throw. You just
Oh
had to
no.
travel along the thing, and
And hope for the
whatever
best.
happened, happened.
Okay, got
Yes,
it. Yeah.
yes. Um, so I played that for a while, and I enjoyed that, and that gave me enough of a taste to actually jump over to War Machine, where I finally found a community for it, and I started playing that, which is kind of where the MCP story starts,
Mm.
because a lot of the developers and the main people at AMG uh, a lot of them all came from the company that made War Machine.
Oh, cool. Wow, I did not know that. That's sick. And you were was this something that you just followed via like online forums or did you have actual contact with them? Were you playing War Machine games with them?
No, nobody from AMG. No,
Oh,
no,
okay, okay,
nothing.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, no, nothing. I was not involved with anything from the rule. So I was involved with the rules forum for War Machine, but from
Ooh.
the annoying player perspective. I was not a judge, or I was not a moderator or anything like that for War
That's great.
Machine.
That's what a great way to describe it.
Yeah, I
Okay, got it.
I was the person asking complicated, detailed questions about how everything worked.
Okay, great.
Uh, so I played that for a while, got relatively into it in terms of I would go to game nights as much as I could. I traveled to events, localish events, within a couple of hours. I never did any extensive travel for that game, but I do like a 6, 7 hour drive
Hmm.
to go to one of the big local events for that, and um, played that for several years. Um, Took a little bit of a break from it, and I honestly forget a little bit how I first heard about MCP, but I um, well, actually, in between there, I actually also saw Star Wars Legion when it first came out.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, I am like AMG developer fanboy. Apparently, their games
Ah.
are the taste of my game,
Okay, yeah,
I guess.
that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Sometimes people just have that, flavor that you enjoy, and so why not? Why not?
Yeah, like I feel a little bad that I've never branched out, and like I've never played any GW games. I've never really played games from other developers, which is maybe good in some ways and bad in other ways. Like there's so many cool games out there that I would love to play if I had infinite time and money and
Hmm.
other people to play with.
Hmm.
Uh, but
Okay.
yeah, sorry. So I did Star Wars Legion. I played that for a little bit when it first released, but the I didn't feel like there was a big uptick in the community at the time, although maybe I just wasn't connected to the right spots. I'm not sure. But MCP came out,
Mm.
so I heard that that was coming. Uh, Probably from Facebook posts in various gaming groups and circles. And when looking into it, I saw that it was a bunch of people from Privateer Press, which was the company that did War Machine.
Oh.
So because I had enjoyed that so much, I was pretty confident I would like the game system. And I am um, uh, like I'm definitely a Marvel fan. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know a lot of the lore. Like I'm a fan from the original X-Men cartoons and stuff when I
Oh
was a
yeah.
kid.
And how
The
could you not be? That cartoon was
Yeah,
so good. So good. How could you not
uh,
be?
the arcade cabinet, like the multiplayer arcade cabinet back from the 90s or 2000s or whatever.
Hmm, hmm.
I forget the exact name, but so I'm a Marvel fan, but I am not like a deep fan. So the theme was interesting enough, and I knew I would almost certainly like the game mechanics, so I jumped into that as soon as I could and started trying to find other players locally, and we had had enough people that got kicked off, thankfully, and
Hmm. Okay.
I
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. No,
So,
no, you go ahead.
so you swapped over. You knew or you saw that there was a burgeoning and more exciting community that was starting up around this game. So we explained, we touched on a little bit earlier that you are part of the rules forum, not only just a rooms forum, the official rules forum for Marvel Crisis Protocol. So after you started ingratiating yourself into this MCP community. How did that start? How did you get involved in the rules forum? And then, like, I guess for people who don't know about it, can you also maybe explain a little bit what actually a rules forum is for a game like this?
Yeah, definitely. Um, I'll do the explanation first, and then can kind of answer the first part of that question.
Mm-hmm.
So the rules forum is linked off of the official AMG site. If you go to the rules page on AMG's Marvel Crisis Protocol section of the
Mm-hmm.
website.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Down at the bottom of the page, you can find a link over to the rules forum, and that is the place where you can ask questions about how interactions in the game are supposed to function and get official answers that this is how you should play it. So you don't have to doubt or question
Mm-hmm.
or have arguments at the table. If you
Mm-hmm.
are unsure of how something is supposed to be played, you can go there and you can get what is considered an official answer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the majority of the time, it will come from a moderator. So either myself or the other moderator, Negladar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, every now and then you will get a response from one of the actual AMG employees.
Ooh.
Um, yes, yeah, that's an important distinction as well. We are not in AMG employees. We are not official uh, members of the team or anything like that.
Or the
We don't.
company, yeah, okay.
Yes, the company is a good way to, yeah. We are not, we're not employees. We're not members of the company. We do
Mm-hmm.
not speak for AMG uh, in any way or anything like that. Although that's when we answer on the forum, that is considered official and
Right, yeah.
binding kind of statement.
So it's a very peculiar place you're in. You're not a part of the company, but you do get to type on their website from a place of authority. So how did that happen? How does like do you have to, you know, apply for this kind of position, or do they see that you're already doing the work and they're just like, hey, you want to type over here instead of where you're already typing? What's that process look like? Because I literally have no idea. Do they
Yeah, yeah.
does every game because Marvel Crisis Protocol is my first and only war game that I've ever played. So I does every game have a rules forum and a rules forum person like this?
Um, I don't believe so. This is where kind of my comments about not playing a lot of other things. I'd say my knowledge is lacking, but given what
Ah.
I have collect it from just hearing other people talk about other games. I don't believe that that is a thing that every game has, although I do think it is something that every game absolutely should have.
Mm.
Um,
I mean, it's
I
certain.
do,
It certainly makes it easier. Like I can, instead of having a debate on the table about how Quicksilver's can't catch me superpower works, I just Google it real quick and then I go, oh, okay. Well, this person said it works like this, and that's the end of the discussion. I absolutely agree. Every game should have something like this. It's like so useful.
yes, like even in this age of like living rule books and they can update the PDFs. Theoretically, a company can update a PDF whenever they want to. Um, I'm sure that is much more complicated when you have to deal with licensing and
Hmm.
other things, but the ideal world situation is like that. But you still run into the problem of five different people can read the exact same sentence and come up with six different answers for what it means,
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
right? So having some spot that somebody can tell you for this game system, this is how it should be understood to function is I don't know. I don't know that I could play a game where that was not available,
Hmm.
even even if it's not me being able to help with that or anything. Um, that just is so useful
Yeah.
because despite what you might think with me kind of being a rules person, I loathe having rules debates.
Yeah. Because oftentimes you're correct. It does come down to people basically trying to argue their interpretations of the rule, which are personal and idiosyncratic. You're going to be spinning around a drain for a long time.
Yes, yeah, yeah, exactly. I guess I should caveat that a little bit that I hate having them while I'm playing the game.
Hmm. Hmm.
I just want to play the game. I wish everybody understood everything exactly the same. We all had perfect knowledge sort of thing, and we just get to play and enjoy ourselves, and we don't have to have any sort of feels bad where you think it works one way, I think it works another way, and we've set up 5 turns previous based on that, and now all of
Hmm.
a sudden we're like, oh, what do we do?
Oopsie daisies. Yeah. These rules questions, being a person who adjudicates these things, where did the enjoyment of that come from? Like, why do you enjoy? I get the portion where you're like giving back to the community and you're, but there certainly has to be a portion of you that enjoys thinking about these questions and actually typing an answer to it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like that is actually how I before I got to join in like a official capacity sort of thing, I was constantly on Discord, constantly on Facebook. That's actually an interesting little bit of history tidbit that you might not know, having joined the game later, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't originally a forum. Originally, the only way you got rulings was AMG had a Facebook page, and when people would post questions on like just the regular Facebook page, sometimes the AMG account would respond to
Oh.
that question, and that's how you found out how things worked. You would have to be scrolling through the Facebook page and just trolling comments to see if AMG explained something when a rules question popped up.
Wow. Okay, got it. Wow. Okay,
Yeah, so
that sounds tiresome.
people will have various opinions about how easy the forum is to use or not, and we at least don't have that anymore.
Okay, all right, got it. So how did you get involved in that? What makes you uh want to answer these questions?
Ah, it um I guess the best thing would be a comparison maybe in that playing the game is definitely like top of the enjoyment
Okay,
levels for
yeah.
me, but where you would see the majority of the community enjoy participating in roster discussions, list discussions, breakdowns of, oh, how am I going to build my team? How am I going to make everything function and work? Uh, I I don't enjoy that so much.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy breaking down the rules and figuring out how the world of this game system works. Um, so rather than sitting there debating and talking about do I want this character versus that character, I get the similar level of enjoyment of, well, why does this rule function the way it does? How do we know that? What other examples are there? How does this system function?
Oh, interesting.
Um,
So you have a real game developer's type of mentality, is what it sounds like to me.
uh, Maybe I don't know. I, I I guess so. I enjoy breaking the systems down. Not to make it sound more um, grand than it really is, but like I kind of picture like medieval scholars sitting in the library in their leather chairs and stuff, and like, why does the sun cross cross the
Mm-hmm.
sky every
Right?
day?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like that sort of discussion around the rule system, how the world of this game system functions is the enjoyment that I get out of it. And I guess that would be how the developers must take to it to some extent as well, because they had to figure all this stuff out originally.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's super cool. That's super interesting. Yeah, I mean, so I think the way I would explain it is that it's just fun to think about. Like you explained before that you don't enjoy the whole roster building portion of it, whereas I'm kind of the flip side of that. I have never truly thought about how rules work and what their implications are on the game, but super duper enjoy thinking, okay, I have this role that I need filled in my roster. Who's the one to fill it?
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I totally relate to that. Okay, so we've covered where you've been and how you got here. So can you tell me a little bit now about what your like everyday experience is being in the community in this capacity? Like are you just like bombarded by questions all the time, or what's a normal day in the life look like with this hat that you
Yeah.
wear?
Um, Honestly, I don't get too many direct messages from people.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then I'll get something, but it's by no means am I being bombarded by questions or anything like that. I kind of do that to myself though, because I would say I think I can be self-aware enough to say I probably have an addiction to Discord.
Listen, me and you both, brother.
Like I definitely do not want my phone to tell me how much time I spend on it or anything like that.
No, no. Last week my phone said that I had spent like I think it was a number of hours of screen time less than the last week, and that made me feel really good. Like probably I was
Yeah,
probably way too proud, more proud of that than I should have been. But yeah, it's weird because Discord is for certain a social media. Now the more that I think about it, but it's one that is not in the same format as what you would think of when you think of that phrase. So it like I think Discord like snuck up on us, and it's like haha.
yeah, that's fair. I definitely agree. Like it's not what most people think of if you say social media, I think,
Hmm,
for
hmm.
sure.
But I mean, and all that is to say, I freaking love it. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I can't help it. Just chatting with people, or you make a joke and then you get a whole bunch of emotes on your joke. Oh, that feels good.
Yes.
Or I mean, just in general, interacting because it's all opt-in, right? It's all opt-in. You
Yep.
you choose these communities, these Discord servers to be a part of. You choose when to type and who to respond to, and all that other stuff. So, because it's all your decision, it's just like it's so much fun to be a part of these communities.
I agree. Like I have found myself at times I have found myself with like over 20 just MCP specific discords that I'm in, and like I've had to pare that down at times to
Mm-hmm.
just try and keep it under control. But yeah, it's just fun to. keep a pulse on all the different communities and everything.
Wow, so that's great that people are a bit more mm, respectful, I guess, of your personal inbox. That they're not bombarding you with questions a lot. I know that. I guess this is outing myself. I usually never hesitate to at you whenever I have a question, which is probably I should not be setting that example. But
No,
every time, oh, but so do you not mind it genuinely?
no, yeah, no, I don't mind. I like I am happy to have those conversations. Like that is like I said, that where somebody else would love to jump into like the hot strats or something like that and discuss the ins and outs of a roster. I am happy to have any sort of rules discussions with people. So DMs and like you just mentioned, it's all opt in. I can choose when and how I want to look at them or respond. So yeah, no,
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind. I do prefer people to take a shot at looking at the forum first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because we do see a lot of questions across the various rules channels in Discord and everything where like there are definitely answers out there, and I get it. It's much easier to just ask it quick and somebody will probably know it off the top of your head and can give it to you quicker than you could find it, because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people do have trouble searching the forum. Like you mentioned, Googling an answer and getting the threads that you're looking for, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
Mm-hmm.
where to me, I was like, that blows my mind. I could not imagine Googling for any of the answers.
Oh, really?
Uh, yeah. Oh no. It's totally the forum. If you take the time to um, if you take the time to kind of like look at and understand how the forum search functionality works, I have found it more than powerful enough for basically anything personally.
Hmm.
I do recognize that a lot of people have difficulties with it, and if you're just not used to it, it is probably easier due to familiarity to just Google it or anything like that. But
Hmm.
like every post has tags on it for the character, the ability, sometimes wider ranging concepts. But if you can get to a tag related to what you're looking for, you can pull up essentially any post where something might be relevant very quickly, I think. And then yeah, you do got to dig through those forum threads, but I I think it is stronger than a lot of people realize.
Interesting. I guess I'll have to give it more of a try. Whenever I Google it, it's usually the forum, the link to the forum page that I need is usually like
Really?
in one of the top Google results. I guess I've just never, I've never tried actually starting from the forum page, which I probably
Well,
should.
if well, no, if you're getting what you need from your Google results, then there is no need to jump over to the forum threads, I guess. Like, do what works for you.
Yeah.
Like that's very very good philosophy for the gaming in general, I think,
Mm.
is do what works for you. Like if
And
pulling up the rules that way works, awesome.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes what works for me is going to that rules questions channel and being like, "Hey guys, real quick, at Thoras, does
Yep.
this?"
Well, and that's what it's there for. That's what it's there for sure. And I choose to participate that in to the level I do, and I actually question at times whether I participate too much,
Mm.
honestly, not just from like personal things, but whether it limits, whether it's more limiting to a wider understanding for a
uh,
wider amount of people.
you feel like you're being
Um,
enabling in some behaviors.
well, maybe, but also just like if the answer is so easy to come by, and if you get it from not to sound this sounds bad to say it this way, but if I say it, most people will just believe it, right?
Hmm.
Or if Nagelder says it, most people, if they know our role on the forum, they will just take our word for it and they won't dig deeper. They won't dig into necessarily understanding it.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
they will just take the, what, kind of like our earlier discussion. They get told this is how it works and they don't need to figure out why. Whereas if I didn't jump in as much as I could, I wonder if there would be a broader conversation and more people digging in more and trying to understand more
Hmm.
about why and how it all functions that way.
That is interesting. If I were a betting man, for me personally, I think I would just have, I just wouldn't know. I would do my best. I would do my honest best. I would give it a try to look it
Mhm,
up and see, because there are lots of very helpful, you know, charts in the book, in the
mhm.
rules book, that say this is how timing works and stuff like that. So I oftentimes I'll give it my best try. I'll try to parse it out. But sometimes, it like during a game, it's oftentimes easier to be like, we'll just go with what you think, and then we'll go, we'll figure it out for sure later. This will be just like a learning
Oh,
point kind
yes,
of thing.
definitely. Like I am definitely a proponent of if you don't have a judge or somebody else available that you want to call, just roll off. Don't have a big conversation. Just you think it works this way, I think it works this way. 50-50. Like who's right? The dice decide. And we just live with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just I've been in too many, actually serious like situations where my decisions have, sometimes dire consequences, and I just like
Mm.
cannot imagine uh somebody being like, "Wait a second, is this one damage or two?" and getting really heated about that. Just like, brother, I'm not gonna live
Yeah,
long enough to have this be a top worry in my life.
absolutely. Yeah. It's not worth the stress. It's not worth the anger. It's not just yeah.
No, 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 by a long shot, by a long shot. Okay, so you did hit on something before where that I thought was very interesting, which is there are kind of, you talked about some easier questions that you answered, and we did discuss before we started recording that there's basically two different types of questions people ask. There is those kind of in quotation marks easier, we'll say, right, to be
Mhm,
fair about it. Easier questions to ask, like things where people just simply don't understand the rules, and your answer on the forums are basically to put it in more into phrasing that they can better understand. There's those type of questions, and then there's the more difficult questions where these rules, in order to get to the bottom of the thing that they're confused on, they need to be interpreted further past what it says strictly in black and white. So can you talk to me about how you approach those two different situations? What's it like to dig through those two circumstances?
yeah, yeah, I can try there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so something I will say at times, and I think it's true, is that the game is in ways more complicated than the rule book's willing to admit. Uh,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Gosh, I, I,
um,
I talked to Schmid recently, and he said that there are some people who think that the game is. I can't remember if he used the word simple or he's not complex, and that just blew my mind. I was like, who is out here thinking this game is simple or easy? That's crazy to me.
yes, like the the core ideas behind everything and like at the basic level how everything functions is I think pretty simple,
Mhm.
but when everything starts interacting, together, that's definitely where a lot of the complexities come from.
Hmm.
And you reference the charts and everything, and if nothing else, if somebody took nothing else out of any conversations related to rules, I would say just look at Appendix A in the back. Look at the attack timing chart, step through it, and that answers so many questions that people have. And AMG has done a really good job of just laying that out. Um, and that's where a lot of the, I guess, easy questions would come from.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Um, you get something like, well, I would say this one is an easier one. I can understand if somebody doesn't have everything memorized, it is not quite so easy, but there will be questions about like, okay, if I attack somebody and I daze them, do I get to apply conditions from my after the attack is resolved triggers?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And no, you don't for that, because if you step through that chart in the back, you will see you hit a step where you apply the damage. And in another section, you will see that when somebody's damage matches their stamina, they're dazed.
Mm.
And when they're dazed, they can't be affected by special rules.
Yeah, these
So,
when you explain things, because when I was first learning the game, I trolled these forums real hard,
mhm,
for all of these things that I did not understand, and it was really really nice, really helpful, because when you and Goldar type out answers, you reference sometimes page numbers but oftentimes, okay, in this chart at this step, this is the key component that you're misunderstanding, and this is how it works because of that step. It's like super super easy. I really do appreciate that.
oh, well, that's good to hear. Thank you. Yeah, we definitely try to. I'm sure we do not do it perfectly or anything, but we try to make those references and everything when possible, because that is one of the things that I have heard people kind of complain about the most. I would say is that uh, the layout of the rule books will get complaints at times because you do need to reference between different pages,
Hmm.
um, different concepts. So like this one, as mentioning, like okay, so you hit this step, you do the damage. In another section, you see okay, well when they're damaged, they're dazed and they can't be applied by special rules. And you go back to that first chart and you see well where I'm applying this condition is four steps later, so they. They've got to be dazed right now. So if I can't affect them with special rules, then I can't do this thing.
Okay, okay.
That would be maybe one of the easier kind of questions, I
So
would say.
it sounds pretty straightforward. Yeah.
And then uh, one of the harder questions. Ah, there's a lot of different examples of that, I
Hmm.
guess. Sometimes it comes down to people trying to separate knowledge from other game systems, or it sounds silly to say, but even just like the English definitions of things, um, where they have to, in the one example, they have to separate out, well, the definition for, we'll say, within in this game is specifically this, and you got to throw out the definition for within from this other game because it's just confusing you. Or
Oh.
people will think of, okay, well, it says within. Does it have to be completely within or just within? Well, if you look through the rule book some more, you will find there is no definition of completely within for MCP, but it is a common thing for other game systems.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, so it's bringing in other games knowledge that will often confuse
Hmm.
people. And that's where those interpretation questions come in more, where we try to just help people separate out what they know from another system to what a specific phrase or a specific word means in this specific game. You do even run into that a little bit with just the English language, honestly, uh,
Yeah.
where uh, a common one that I see is what does it mean when a line has to go through something? And where that comes into play is from line of sight and
Mm-hmm.
cover,
Cover. Yeah. Uh-huh.
right? So the line has to go through uh, the line has to go through the piece of terrain to give somebody cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that is not understood a lot by people when they're first getting into the game is the interaction of you are both standing on top of a building's roof, and you are um, not within two of the other character. You're you're gonna have cover from the person attacking you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely hard for me to wrap my brain around when I first came across that. Yeah, for sure.
Right. And there's like a narrative dissonance there where somebody looks at that and says, okay, well, there's nothing to give me cover. And you can come up with all sort of narrative explanations for
Mm-hmm.
things. And I'll do that every now and then to just try and help people understand. But I'm much more about like, well, just read the rule
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, step by step and try and throw out all of that narrative stuff because that's what confuses people a lot of the time. But they'll say, well, if I'm looking at that, the line between them's not going through anything. It's going across the building, or it's going over top of the building, or it's going like there's some different phrases that they'll come up with, but just their understanding of what the word through would mean just from knowing English,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't match this definition.
Okay.
Um,
Wow. Yeah. I really appreciate your patience in those situations because I don't think I could be. I don't know if I could sit there and explain the same thing over and over. I'd be like, "Shut up, nerd! It is what it is." But you're like, "No, no, no! Listen, this is that's so interesting. I never thought about having to parse it. And I guess that comes back to the fact that this is my only war game that I've ever played. So I didn't have to unlearn anything. I didn't even think about that. So do most of those questions where you have to interpret a lot of different things, do those come from people with past experience more often than not, or are there sprinkled in there some people who are like me who have only played this one game?
uh, um,
Hard to say maybe
yeah,
actually now that I think about
yeah,
that question. My bad, my
yeah.
bad.
It's no worries. It's tough to say. I think you probably get it from both sides, right? Because well, you coming in fresh, what are some of the things you found the most complicated, I guess?
Yeah, definitely cover and line of sight were hard for me to understand. I mean, like, when I first started playing, I didn't understand how throws work. I was like, what? What? Why is this lamppost hitting me so hard? But, I get it now, and they changed the rules, which is nice. But, anyways, yeah, yeah. So I guess as a new player, where I'm not having to unlearn things, I don't think I really had that experience where I mean, but I can totally understand it. Like, if I just think about the word through, I imagine something starting on one side, overlapping something and exiting the other side of it. Like that is totally a reasonable interpretation of it. But in the game, no can do. It's through
Yeah,
is
yeah.
is basically overlapping. That's what it should be. That's probably the better explanation of that what that word should be. Would you agree?
That's yeah, that's one of the ways that's one of the ways I will try to explain it. A lot of the complications with that, I think, stem from there's nothing that in the rule book explicitly tells somebody to try and view everything from like a 2D top-down perspective.
Mm.
Um, it kind of stems from just all of the measurements being horizontal, I think,
Mm,
and extrapolating from that. Because if you take that like bird's eye view, you're looking at the board straight down from the top through and overlap and all of that. Whether it meets the technical English definitions, I don't know. I'm not good with with that, but
yeah.
from the common phrasing, I think through, overlapping, touching, like it all means essentially the same thing from that top-down perspective.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I that's something I have not thought about either. It's something that I now realize that I definitely did, but without even thinking about it. Is that the fact that those measuring tools, whenever you're measuring things, they're just parallel to the mat. So yeah, that top down view is the default whenever you're if things are getting really noodly, like in those situations where you need some sort of rules call in it, the top
Yes,
down
yeah,
version is the deep. Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. I didn't realize that, and there's nothing in the rules that say that. You just have to, through I guess experience and through interpretation, you have to figure that out.
kind of, unfortunately, yeah. Like
Interesting.
that's like a community tribal knowledge thing that's come down from the beginnings of the game, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and like I can understand why it's not kind of phrased that way in the actual rule book, I guess.
Mm,
But it just seems to be like the easiest way to understand it and visualize it. And like it helps in so many cases. Like another common one is for terrain and like, well, what can I be overlapping when I've got my character up on top of a piece of terrain? And the rules for that are that as long as your character's base is contained within the outer footprint
mm.
of the piece of terrain, you're good. That can be hard to kind of understand, I guess, when you're looking at it from the um real life perspective.
Right. Yeah.
Like an example of that, you know the construction trailer for the like the official construction trailer piece of terrain?
It's that large, like
It,
rectangular cement thing.
yes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Uh,
The one with the stairs on it. Is that the one you were talking about?
yes, and the stairs are very critical to the point here.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
that is a giant rectangular block, except for the little jut out of the stairs. If your character is standing on the top of the building, your base can be overlapping the edge of the building as long as it is over top of the stairs.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you, again, go back to that 2D top down kind of visual, you are fully contained within the outer footprint of the building.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah, I think another thing that I'm just realizing about myself is that I am quite confident sometimes when I make assumptions, for better or for worse. And I think maybe that's another reason that I've never come across, I've never really thought about these higher level interpretation questions, is because I usually look at a situation and I go, ah, it's probably like this. And then either my opponent is like, yeah, probably, or they will be the one who is like, maybe let's Google this real quick, just to feel like, because I think me coming across that construction site piece of terrain, in my head, is there wait actually is there a rule that says you have to be able to like balance on it too, or did I just make that up?
Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
there is
no,
there
no,
is.
that, yeah, sorry, I glossed over that, but like your model has to be able to fit where it goes. It has to be able to balance there, which is left up to you and your opponent to decide what balancing means. But yeah, you have to be able to balance there. You have to be able to fit there uh, as well, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. 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 So yeah, I think. I think I do. I should probably be more careful about this moving forward because the phrase you used earlier about tribal knowledge, I do probably fall into those pitfalls a lot, where somebody will be like, "Oh, that's not how that works," and I'll be like, "What?" Because that's how I've been playing it for such a long time. So maybe, yeah, you're right. I'm probably too confident, and I should be more critical of these. Boy, that's so interesting. That's so interesting that I should
Oh,
I should kind of wipe off the fog of this lens that I look at this game through.
well, but on the other hand, though, I'd say if you and the people you play with are happy with that interpretation, don't listen to me. It doesn't
Mm,
matter what I say, right? Doesn't matter. And I believe AMG has said things like that in various interviews and everything, where it's like, don't don't let the rules get in the way of you and your opponent enjoying the game.
mm,
Like if everybody at the table is happy with what's happening, then awesome. Like
mm,
you're there to have fun. You want to enjoy yourselves and uh yeah, just don't worry about it too much. That I recognize that gets complicated when you start considering that you want to travel. Well, I don't know. Do you travel for other events? I think you said
nah.
yes.
Oh,
No? Okay.
I would like to
Oh,
in
okay.
like the future, but currently on a student's salary, I am
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm constricted to the Tri County area.
Okay.
But
Well,
I do agree. I think what you're getting at is like when it comes to more highly competitive events, right? That's when you want to things might get a little sticky,
yes.
but for pickup games,
Yeah.
just wing
Like
it.
if you play locally, if your meta is happy to play with your version of the rules, then awesome. Like that's what we all want out of this is just to have fun and enjoy playing with the people we play with. Yes, if you want to start traveling to other metas and other groups, you want to try and have more of that common understanding between everything,
Mm,
which is where the rule book, the forum, the wider social media presence of players comes in, I guess. And that's that's kind of how I started doing what I wanted to do, or how I started doing what I'm doing with all the rule stuff is that like I said, I hate having a rules argument mid-game.
yes,
So
yeah.
in a way, this is selfish in that I just want everybody to have the same understanding of everything so that we can just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
We can just play it. But yeah, if you want to travel to some of these wider events, it's probably better to dig into um, dig into some of that stuff a little bit more. But you don't know what you don't know. So if everybody agrees you're playing it right until you run into somebody that doesn't agree, you're never going to know to look it up.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. It's really refreshing, and I think I hope that people will appreciate that even a person whose main function in the community is to arbitrate these discrepancies or however you want to these misunderstandings, even a person whose focus is rules, it's so refreshing and so it's almost like you're giving people permission to be like, hey, remember how this is a game and everybody's having fun. Let's focus on that because that's oftentimes, I mean, you know, being competitive is kind of its own class of fun or genre or whatever, but sometimes people just love throwing dice at their friends, and that is, you know what I mean?
Yep, yep, yep. Nope, for sure.
So
Like,
yeah.
don't get me wrong. I wish we played everything absolutely perfectly,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, even in I doubt there has been an absolutely perfect game of MCP ever played by anybody.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's there's just too much. There's too much in a game, and there's too many decision points for to get everything super duper exactly right. It's impossible. Impossible.
Yeah, like even just the reality of we're playing on a physical game board, and as careful as we are, those models are getting nudged around.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Mm-hmm.
models are getting bumped in some fashion when we're moving, or we're not measuring perfectly because we can't. We just can't. The reality of how we're playing and the physicality of everything means it's not perfect. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
do your best, but give yourself some freedom
Yeah.
too, I guess.
A little bit of grace goes a long way, for
Yeah,
sure, for you and your opponent.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And like I will try to when I'm playing, I I will try to I don't want to say correct people, but I want us to follow the rules as closely as we can.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody does something that isn't exactly right, I try to be very graceful and like, oh, okay, well, you thought it worked that way, and you've set up your whole last 3 turns because you thought it worked that way. Okay, well, go ahead and do it this time, but as we continue the game, it doesn't. Let's not do it that way. Um,
That's great. That's great. I think that's totally appropriate. That's yeah,
and
yeah. To be
and
like,
I
okay. Because when like sometimes a learning so a learning the way that a less gracious person would handle that, where they just spent 3 turns setting something up and then they found out that that's not how it works. That is a brutal way to learn. like I don't think,
yes,
especially a person who's new at the game and they're just learning stuff, don't make people learn like that. Just be cool, guys.
yeah. Like I I will say I am definitely not perfect in that regards.
Sure, and nobody is.
And
Nobody is.
even as the moderator, like I mess stuff up. I am sure I mess stuff up mid game all the time. I am very bad at keeping I forget my conditions all the time. I actually at a recent event I messed something up so badly that afterwards I realized it, and was like trying to contact this person over Discord and everything, asking various communities like, do you know who this is? Can like, can I talk to this person because I messed this up so badly? I will both want to apologize and make sure they know how it actually functions because they were a newish player. Um, I don't think they were aware of like my role with the moderating stuff because like I don't try like at the event I'm not talking about that, right? Like if somebody knows because they just recognize my name or something like that, okay, I'll talk about it, but I'm not like, hey, I'm the rules guy or whatever. Um, but they took my word about how it worked at the time, and it was such a bad mess up that I just like if I could have conceded after the fact, but it was like at the end of the event that I realized how badly I messed it up.
Mm.
Yeah, it was bad. So, and long story short, to say like even the people that have a pretty good handle on the rules still mess the rules up.
All right, Thoras. Well, I think we made a podcast. How do you feel?
Yeah, no, that was great. It was fun. Thank you for the invite.
Okay, so everybody, thanks again for watching or for listening. This has been Chatting with Friends. Sitting down with Thoras is a really great time. If you enjoyed this podcast, please feel free to share it with some friends, some people that you think would enjoy it as well. Just trying to get lots of ears on all of these fancy people that I know, and these stories that people should know. I think so interesting. Okay, so yes, thanks again, Thoras, for joining, and I'll see everybody next time. Okay, bye bye.
Bye.